All right, so it's late March, and we've had a late winter, and we just had a real front to come through that's what I call a temperature inversion, meaning the front came out of the south, and it's warmer air than the air that was here before, so we had a warm front blow in. This happens a lot in the spring, no matter where you live in the country, and so one of the things that I like to teach students or talk to folks about or when I'm guiding trips, really focus on is when you have that warm front blow in from the south, and the water temperature is colder than the air temperature, that means that the surface water is warmer than the deeper water. Cold water is denser than warm water, so the warm water rides on top of the cold water. So when you've got wind blowing against a bank, and it's the bank that the sun's also hitting, that's going to stack the odds in your favor for fish being on that bank. Most people want to go get on the sheltered side and get out of the wind and fish that side, but the thing that's happening right here is this warmer air is the surface air is warm, the surface water is warmer, and the wind's blowing it to that bank, and it's sitting on top. So that's going to stage the fish on that side of the lake. And once you get below about a foot deep, it's not windy anymore, so the bass don't care. So when you've got this situation where you've got sun, you've got a front that blew through, you got muddy water, and the wind is blowing to one side, especially when the air's warmer, you want to fish that side of the lake and at least start there. And on these small bodies of water where the fish are going to be really susceptible to what's going on in the atmosphere, that can be the difference between catching fish and not catching fish. So human nature, and intuitively you want to get on the side where there's trees and get out of the wind and fish easy, but the fish ain't always where it's easy. So the wind-blown side, late winter rolling into spring and spring into summer, is one of the better sides. Now that whole thing flips in the fall, and the cold air mass coming in, blowing to the opposite side, can cool that water off, and that colder water is heavier and sinks down through the water column, cools it off, attracts the bait fish, and brings in the predators. So think about things like that when you're out fishing, and I think it'll help you locate fish that much quicker. So in keeping with that concept, it also means that the fish are going to be a little more active on that side. So even when you're in off-peak periods and you've got lower water temperatures, I think on that side of the lake, you can get away with more active presentations, more of your power fishing stuff, your spinner baits, your buzz baits, your shallow cranks and things like that. So I'm going to experiment. Now, water clarity is a big topic that folks talk about quite a bit when it comes to color selection for their lures. The one thing that I don't think we do a good job of in discussions and in teaching folks how to decide what lure color based on water clarity is to talk about the combination of water clarity and sky conditions. If the water is murky and the sky is overcast and dark, I'm going to always use a darker colored bait, always. It's going to profile better, it's going to silhouette better, and I'm going to have more success. However, if I've got murky water and I've got a lot of sun and I've got a lot of light penetration, I'm going to choose a little bit brighter bait, but I really do like to use a combination of the two. And so one of those examples is like this Strike King crankbait that I've got here. I like a bright colored bait, but I'd like a dark back. So when it's got that wobble to it, I've got a little bit of the dark and a little bit of the light. That chartreuse color is going to pick up the sun. It's going to reflect the light down in that murky water. But when you've got an overcast condition, I'm going to fish a darker bait, and I'm going to stay with a lot more contrast style presentation. So if you've got muddy water and you've got good sky conditions that are bright and sunny, pick a brighter bait. You'll have a lot more success a lot more often.